Hopefully everybody's had a great day, great weekend so far, and hope you have a blessed Monday and start the week off right this week. I just wanted to take a little time out, take a little time from you, if you're tuning in or will tune in later, just talk about something. So, in the midst of the Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef, stay vigilant. Stay vigilant. I am a hip hop head. I love hip hop. I love music. Uh, hadn't seen the likes of this type of beef in a long time as far as two what we consider to be juggernauts of MCs going at it in a very long time. Uh, we can go back to KRS-One and MC Shan with their beef. You know, everybody remember when KRS-One dropped the bridges over. And so we can go back to, of course, Nas and Jay. But even before that, Big and Pac, which actually, of course, that got out of hand. So hopefully we don't see anything like that in the near future or at all in the future, period. Don't want to see things go to that point to where they get totally out of hand to where people lose their lives. We don't ever want to see that. So hopefully everybody keeps it on wax. So you can go back to KRS-One, MC Shan. And it goes farther back than that. You can go to Big and Pac. You can go to Jay-Z and Nas. You can go to the 50 Cent Ja Rule beef. And then now we have the Kendrick Lamar Drake beef. And most would consider this to be one of the best weekends in hip hop history as far as how these guys have been putting out material at a record rate, at a historic rate, quickly. And that's the thing about living in a zero marginal cost industry and economic platform, or should I say atmosphere, to where people can put things out quickly for consumption and have them readily available in an instant. Zero marginal cost. And then direct to consumer. So that's a great thing about it. And then also too as well, it's causing this generation to look more into lyrics, to look more into the meaning of things, to look more into the historical content of why Drake may be saying a certain thing or why Kendrick may be saying a certain thing. And so in the heat of the battle and in the heat of diss tracks or being disrespectful as you can possibly be in a battle, when you go to war, things can get ugly. Things can get bad. Things can get very disrespectful. And so I think we've seen a lot of that happen. You know, seeing how Drake came back from things, seeing how, you know, Kendrick came out after taking a hiatus and seeing him come back on like that, and then seeing Drake's response on push ups, and then so on and so forth. I'm not going to go through all of it. You guys know all of that already. And I don't want to take up too much of your time with that. There are some great streamers out here that's dealing along that topic of that, that's really covering that very well with more material than I have. And so it's been a great thing to see. You know, I have a favorite that I like, but I don't hate either guy. And so we'll see what happens, see how it pans out. And then again, hopefully everything stays on wax because it is getting to the point where it's getting very, very disrespectful. And so it's been great to see. But in that, in all of that that's going on, I would implore you to stay vigilant. And the reason I say that is because there are a lot of different things that are going on right now that are very important. And I don't want people to miss it. A lot of things going on right now that you can't miss because it's going to be monumental to your future. We're in the midst of an election year, not just for the United States of America, but this is one of the first times in history that we don't see often that we have an election year across the world for many countries, not just the United States. Very important. Keep that in mind. We are in the midst of a very dangerous situation and uneasy situation that's going on in the Middle East right now between Israel and Palestine. So much so that it's causing uprisings here in America and protests in America on college campuses that are very extreme in nature, not to the over extreme, but it is becoming very intense. So we have that. We're dealing with a lot of illegal immigration in this country. Dealing with that, dealing with the aspects of that and what it's bringing with it. We have another war that's happening that we can't lose track of and forget about it, and that's Ukraine and Russia. We have Ukraine and Russia. We have Israel and Palestine. These things are going on at the same time. A lot of intensity there, a lot of uncertainty there of how much is the United States going to get involved? How long will this be carried out? What's coming next behind that? Because as you know, when these things happen, there's going to be some implications behind that. There's going to be some things that are going to be put in motion that's never happened before. And so, what comes after these particular wars come to an end? And I don't want to say resolution because I don't know what type of resolution you will come about with these two things. These two wars are terrible. Um, and I'll tell you this, guys, do not be deceived. Do not be fooled. Many of these wars are centered around economic, I would say, how much you can gain economically, should I say. And what I mean by that is land, money, things of value, oil. So, uranium, if it's available, and whatever other things of value that may happen, that would be a very big impact in the world. A lot of wars happen because of these things. Yeah, disagreements, all that's part of it. Yeah, you want to go into the historical aspects of it, like Putin did, to make his case as to why he did what he did. But what they won't tell you is a lot of this is because of money. A lot of this is because of resources. And so we have that going on. So in the midst of basically, we're almost in the midst of a World War III situation. Depending on how this thing pans out, we are having some major issues in America that I think a lot of people are overseeing. And the issues we have here are economically, but then of course we're getting involved in these wars by shipping off weapons. Then from just a overseas aspect or a international aspect of how we deal with things from a political realm and the decisions we make as far as who we help out, how are we dealing with this particular country as opposed to this one, what type of wars are we weapons are we sending here, what type of weapons are we sending there. So we are expanding our resources and depleting our resources. And think about it, guys, and I don't want to sound mean here, but we are depleting our resources to, let's say, Ukraine, to a country that, do you believe they're going to win this war? That's a question you ask yourself. So, should we try to bring about a realm of diplomacy there, or should we keep sending weapons and money to fund a war that they cannot win? Maybe I'm wrong for saying that, but we got to look at every aspect of it. And as Americans, okay, what are we doing here? How is it going to help us out? Or how is it going to hurt us in the future? How is it going to hurt our children in the future? Their children's children in the future, their children's children in the future. And the reason I bring that up is because that leads me into my next topic, what we're dealing with here economically. We got inflation that's out of control that we can't get in control. We have banks that I think a lot of people are overlooking, that they're going through some issues right now. Not to the point of insolvency, and I hope it never gets to that point, but we're having banks that are going through this commercial real estate issue. But there are a lot of commercial real estates that are on the books where rent's not being paid, where things are not being covered, and there may be a lot of repossessions on these things. And what's going to happen is, because of a lot of this real property that are on the books, then a lot of some of these banks or may close down and may not open back up again. Some of these banks may may be done. And from a regional standpoint, if you think about it, it really hurts the, I would say, local business, because a lot of local business or startups or anything of that nature get their bank loans from regional businesses or regional banks. My apologies. And so this is going to have, I believe, a ripple effect in the economy that I think is being overlooked, that could be a very, very high significance. So we have that issue going on. The jobs numbers and things that came out was not to our liking, and so we're not doing as good as we want to do from an economic standpoint. So this is just kind of just like a short, I would want to say, short piece of information just to think about while all of this stuff is going on around you. And the reason I bring that up is because I think we're at a very pivotal point. We have a very important election coming up, which I think is going to really determine on what happens with us in the future. We have two pivotal wars that are going on right now, which I think is going to determine what happens in the future. We have elections going on, very important elections, some of the most important elections in history. That's going to determine what happens in the future. And so, with all of these things going on that are very important, stay vigilant. Not saying that you can't do other things, get your mind off of things. You don't want to think about the doom and gloom all the time. You don't want to get caught up in that to where you don't enjoy yourself or enjoy certain aspects of life or things that you enjoy doing. Watching NBA games, watching your favorite shows, binge watching, going out spending time with the family, uh, going to games, going to musical events, going to the park, going to Disney World, going going to Paris, going to Monaco, going wherever you're going to be going and doing things to enjoy life, uh, enjoying a battle, enjoying a hip hop battle, some of the likes that some have never seen before between two very high octane artists. All of that's well and good. But in doing that, stay vigilant. If there's one thing I could tell you in 2024, I know you've looked at the Cat Williams of the world and certain things that's been going on as far as being truth tellers. He told you that 2024 would be the year of truth, where everything will be revealed from a true standpoint. So from that, I know you have those aspects of things. In the midst of all of that, I say stay vigilant. Stay vigilant. While you're enjoying life, never forget about the important aspects of what's going on. What's going on. Take time out to read. Take time out to study. Take time out to do your research. Take time out to, if you're married, to talk to your wife or talk to your husband. And if your kids are old enough and you feel they're old enough to understand, talk to them about things that's going to affect your life as a unit. Because at the end of the day, that's what's most important. And you do not want to lose track of that, focusing on something else. Because right now, we're at a tipping point. We're at a pivotal moment where the decision you make this year and the decision you make today, not speaking in literal terms, but the decisions you make right now will very much impact the way your next 5 years is going to be, your next 10 years is going to be, your next 20, 30, 40 years is going to be. We can all disagree on who we like between Kendrick and Drake. We can all disagree on a lot of things, who our favorite team is. No, Denver Nuggets, Minnesota Timberwolves, or if we like, you know, whoever's playing on the East. I'm losing track of basketball, and I'm a basketball guy. But that it's fine to like those. I'm a Tampa Bay Lightning fan, so my team got put out, out of the NHL playoffs. So, and all that's well and good. But stay vigilant in the midst of all of that and make sure that you're dealing with those important things. Who you're going to be voting for and why. How's your money situation looking in the midst of some of these banks that may be closing down? What do you have a plan in reference to that? How are you going to maneuver around that? Do you know what's going on overseas as far as with these wars? Do you agree with them? Do you not agree with them? And then decide on what decision you're going to make as far as in voting, as far as who you're going to vote for and how they're going to deal with those situations. What's going on locally in your municipality as far as, and that's what's most important, really. What's going on around you that's impacting your city, that's impacting your job, that's impacting your way of life, impacting your family? Do you know who's on your board of aldermen? Do you know who's the council members in your city? Do you know who's on certain boards in your city? Are you making decisions there and making an impact in your city? These things are important and these things take time. And you cannot spend too much of your time to where you're not vigilant, especially right now. You've got to be vigilant right now because there's too much going on that's going to impact your life, your children's life, your children's life for generations to come. And the decision you make can have a big bearing on that. If you make the wrong decision, and if you don't make the right decisions and put the right things in motion, it could affect your family unit, even when you're not here. Thank you guys. I appreciate you taking some of your time to check me out. Just wanted to leave that quick thought with you. God bless you. Have a great remainder of the week. Have a great Monday. Hope you have a great night's rest. Hope you had a great weekend. And hopefully I'll chime in soon and talk to you guys again. Thank you.